Welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty Podcast. Back at it again, breaking down these running backs for you. And last episode, we broke down Bijan, A-Chain, Sean Tucker, Roschon Johnson, Chase Brown, Keaton Mitchell. If you want to hear that, go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast at, and check us out. But tonight, we're going to do Jahmyr Gibbs, Zach Evans, Kendre Miller, Israel Ibanikanda, and Kenny McIntosh from the Dogs. Crap, man, what's going on, man?
You know, just dead in the middle of these running backs. I had a great time. Looking up these running backs. It's something different. I'm so used to talking about NFL players, so it's kind of it's refreshing to go to college and start looking at these guys a little bit.
Yeah, heck, I like going down here and doing some scouting. At least my version of scouting. I didn't really. Hey, like we say, we're not the experts. We're just some motherfuckers playing the fake shit. And it's dynasty time, so we talking rookies. Heck, I don't really have too much to say except for let's just get to work and I add the podcast, all that stuff. Check me and Craftman out on the Bird. Heck, if there's anything y'all want to look at, just look at the descriptions. It's all in there, man. It's all in there, links and everything. But before we dive in, you got anything else you want to go right to work?
You gotta start putting your tag in your Twitter thing, man. At Crew Matt Hamm.
At Crewman. At Craftman Pack Fan.
There you go.
Hey, Craft ain't got a picture on his. That shit's got a little. That shit cracks me up, man. Man, let's go ahead and get right into it then, Craft. Jahmyr Gibbs out of Georgia Tech. Nah, I'm just kidding. out of Alabama, did transfer from Georgia Tech, and heck, this is one thing. Even if my pops was right here, big time Georgia Tech fan, man. We knew Jahmyr Gibbs was good like 3 years ago, man. This guy right here was good from the get. When he left Alabama, we was like, when he went to Alabama, because I like Georgia Tech too. I pull for Tech too, and we all talk about, man, if we just had Jahmyr Gibbs, Tech might have won like 4 games that year. Jahmyr Gibbs, 5'9", 199, Alabama. Ran the 40 at 4.36. 10-yard split at 1.52 and Superflex ADP 38.1. He's second among rookie running backs. Here's what that is. This dude clearly passes the eye test for me. When I watch this guy play, I'm like, say no more. I mean, this dude's definitely up there, top 2. Like, I think he's closer to Bijan than what all these people are acting like that. And like, Bijan's just so far ahead of everybody. Like, I don't know, man. I'll say this about Jahmyr Gibbs. His landing spot is, he needs to have a better landing spot. Like, he's more dependable on the landing spot to say a Bijan is. This dude, Jahmyr Gibbs, goes to the Chargers. We're all going to be going. But if it goes to the, I don't know. Somewhere, sorry. That we ain't going to, I ain't going to fuck with Jahmyr Gibbs like that. Yeah, the Texans. He goes to the Texans. Well, I ain't going to lie. I might
He might play with Bryce Young then. He might be playing with Bryce Young, so.
Man, speaking of that, though, Kraft, a lot of steam talking about the Panthers getting Bryce Young. Do you buy into that? I don't either, man.
I ain't buying that shit. They do that shit every year around this time, just to throw people off. Houston's still saying they might not even pick quarterback at all. I mean, that's
just funny. That's just hilarious.
They got a defensive head
But
coach, I guess.
here's the things that I wrote down right here. I wrote down he's got a good start and stop. He's a mismatch in the passing game, quick feet, but lack of contact power, pass protection, not all that good. I don't think it's really going to matter for a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs, but just to note it on out there. Like we said, transferred to Tech to Alabama last year. He ran for 926 yards, 7 touchdowns, had 44 receptions for 444 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So, yep, I love it. So, Jahmyr Gibbs is really like the kind of running back you really want to get, in my opinion. Like, this is the kind of guy you want. The guy who's going to catch the ball, especially in PPR leagues.
Yeah. And I mean, he's mainly a pass catcher, but he can still run. He can still handle himself running up the middle and in between the tackles. He's fine. That's not going to be his forte, but what I got written down is just has elite upside if drafted by a team who utilizes the running back in the passing game. Explosive as hell. He was my favorite running back to watch out of all of them. And he is a master at running the angle route and an option route out of the backfield. He's going to be a crazy mismatch for linebackers. And if they utilize him correctly, he's just going to be a great pick, especially in PPR. I mean, this guy, I know a lot of people are comparing him to Alvin Kamara. I don't really see that. I think he's faster than Kamara, but I feel like Kamara is more of just has more contact balance and just a little more shifty. But I mean, he's just his own guy, really. I ain't really got a comp for him.
He's like closer to a Aaron Jones than a Kamara, in my opinion. Something like that. But really not even like Aaron. I mean, I don't know. He's just his own guy, man. I guess the thing I like about Jahmyr Gibbs, too, is in college, like, it wasn't just he's at Alabama behind these big offensive lines and shit. I mean, this dude was doing it at Georgia Tech over there in Bobby Dodd Stadium over there. So, I mean, if he can produce at Tech with the Yellow Jackets, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really, I mean, heck, that's really not even, it's like, just like Bijan, to me, it's really not even too much to say about Jahmyr. He said this dude is awesome. And I want to see where he goes into. I hope he gets that first round draft capital, too.
Yeah, and he's one of them guys where opposing defenses are going to be game planning. They're going to have to know where he's at every single time he steps on the field. I mean, I don't have anything negative to say about him except for just his weight probably isn't as his explosiveness makes up for the weight, in my opinion, on this one, though.
Right.
And pass catcher. Isn't he by
so,
far and away the best pass catcher in this class? So by far and away the best.
It's not really even close, I don't think. Is there anybody who's, I mean, I saw some of these guys have some nice hands. It's not like this next guy like Zach Evans. I mean, it don't even look like he can catch the ball. So, or maybe I might be getting him mixed up with somebody I know, but
No, he had,
Jahmyr,
I don't have his receptions here, but he could catch all right.
But Jahmyr, yeah. I mean, heck, I'm good on Jahmyr Gibbs. We're both high on Jahmyr. But let's just move on. Zach Evans, 5'11", 202 pounds. Ole Miss, spent a couple years at TCU as well. In fact, went to TCU right out of high school. And talking to my guy, Kill Galani today, I was like, I just don't get it with Zach Evans. Like, what the fuck happened to this dude? This dude was recruited like up there with Bijan. In fact, he was even ranked ahead of times. So I asked Kill, I said, what's the deal? Yeah. Kill said it's between the ears with Zach Evans. That's what he said. Between the ears. And I don't know, man. There's some weird stories about this dude, like, sitting out the state championship game and shit like that. Like, weird stuff. Didn't participate in the combine because of a hamstring. His Superflex ADP is 98.3, which is 5th among rookies. People have been high on Zach Evans since the college football season's ended, I guess. I mean, so I don't know, man.
That's because just his physical attributes, and I mean, he was a number 2 recruit coming out of high school for a reason. And when you watch him play, I mean, there's nothing really to be real down on. I mean, he runs hard. He's got decent hands. And I mean, I don't know if you care, but he didn't get overused in college, so he should be pretty fresh because he lost the job to Kendre Miller and Judkins at Ole Miss. That damn Judkins dude is nasty, but that concerns me that he can't even take over a job in college. That's really my knock on him.
Yeah.
But I mean, all the
I'm
stuff
with
I
you.
seen on film was fine.
Yeah, I mean, after watching the film, it's like I get it. You know what I'm saying? The dude's good. Like, got good body size for the NFL, sudden burst and explosion, top end speed. I mean, the dude is good, but it's like you said, Kendre Miller, another guy we're gonna talk about tonight, couldn't even beat him out. Couldn't really beat him out. And then the guy for Ole Miss, like you said, balling. I don't know, the size, the athleticism, it's all good. It was good coming out of high school. It's gonna be up there coming out of college. Um, I'm just, I don't know, man. I'm a little concerned about Zach Evans. Like, I wouldn't take him too high, but heck, if he dropped to a certain point, you have no choice to get him with that kind of upside. How about this? The upside is there, the ceiling is there, but the floor is also real low too.
Yeah, I guess when you're trying to make that pick, if you're gonna pick Zach Evans, it's got to be based on the draft capital and just if you want to look past the, like Akil said, just in between the ears, like just some suspicious things going on in college, like couldn't beat out a guy, so he transferred. I mean, we just talked about Roshan last episode. He didn't transfer; he just stuck with it. And I mean, if you're that good of a high school recruit and you came in as a 5-star, you should be able to beat out these guys. I feel like, but something's going on behind the scenes. It had to.
Man, I see that. I heard one theory, like he's at 202 pounds right now. I heard probably on one of these podcasts, I bet, or I read it somewhere, talking about how he might getting ready for a dash, but then he did something to his hamstring, cutting that weight or whatever, and then he didn't participate in the combine. So it's possibility he could be bigger than 202 pounds. Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. But on the field, he didn't look like he was like a lazy running back or nothing like that. I mean, he didn't look. He ran hard and he wasn't avoiding contact. It's not like one of these guys who, knows that they're about to go to the NFL and they're just, trying to scoot by. I mean, it looked like when he was on the field, he was playing hard. One thing I did notice, he had a great stiff arm too.
Yeah. So Zach Evans, I think we both like Zach Evans. He's just a little bit on the sketchy side. You just don't know what you're gonna get when you draft him. But honestly, if you're getting him in the second round, I mean, I keep talking about the second round. The second round where you could just pound on these running backs. This is one of them right here. I mean, he drops to like the 2.5 or something. I mean, I'm probably hitting on that all day with that potential, but just a little sketchy.
Yeah, and all the stuff we said about the off-field stuff. I mean, if the NFL don't care when the draft comes around, then I ain't gonna give a shit.
Oh hell no, me neither, man. So what you say?
Forget
Move
about all
on to
that.
his old teammate Kendre Miller.
Yep, we can go. We can go that direction.
Kendre Miller's a guy I like. 5'11", 215 pounds, got the size. I seen a picture of him on Twitter of this dude bulking up, and I was like, well, that gives you day 2 draft capital right there. You're probably going just from that picture alone. He didn't participate in the combine with an MCL injury, but he went to TCU. He was there with Zach Evans, beat him out. It looks like he's got more attempts than him for 2 seasons. That was one thing I know right here. Beat out Zach Evans, who was the highest recruit in TCU history. So,
Yeah.
but above average size, consistent production, good agility and balance, leg strength. One of the weaknesses I put was he just runs upright and he doesn't let the play develop. Other than that, Kendre Miller, I like Kendre Miller. I think he'd probably be a little bit higher on this if he didn't get hurt in that playoff game or whatever. So I think the injury kind of cost him a little bit because in Superflex ADP, he's going eighth among rookie running backs. He's at 120.5. I don't know. I like Kendre Miller a lot. I like him. I think I'd put him ahead of A-Chain. I mean, I ain't sitting here broke it down. I'd put him ahead of A-Chain and Zach Evans.
Damn. Okay. You saw
With
something different than I saw. You saw something. You were watching different shit than I was watching. But I know you love comps, so I'm gonna give you a comp. Jordan Howard is my comp for Kendre Miller. He's pretty big. He gets the yards out of there. I did put good at. I don't know how you're gonna take it. Good at getting skinny and gaining extra yards. If that, I mean, I didn't know how else to word it. He just kind of slithered in between some guys and fell forward, but acceleration wasn't great. I put will likely be a backup for a bigger back on early downs. That's kind of where I see him at. And I think he's got a role in the NFL. I mean, there wasn't nothing I seen on the film that just blew me away. He wasn't the fastest guy. He wasn't the strongest guy. He's just got a prototypical size for running backs that we like to see. And even though he wasn't just crazy explosive, like I keep saying, I like running backs that are 215 pounds, 200 to 215 pounds, because they're going to get on the field. I just don't see a way where he's not going to get some sort of run and could be a great handcuff in the future, or a good bruiser for a team on early downs. That's the way I was looking at him.
Gotta see the draft capital on this guy. Gotta see where he goes.
I think. Wouldn't you think, like, my favorite spot for him would be like the Cowboys, for him to come in and then have Tony Pollard be the main running back, catching passes, and then Kendre Miller kind of fill in that Zeke role from last year. Goal line back, pass blocker. That's kind of that's the way I saw him, was like Zeke last year. That kind of
I like
ability.
it. I like it. Shoot. Yeah, I just can't even say, but yeah, I'm with you on that. I can't off the top of my head give you a landing spot. I just know this. I like Kendre Miller. I like the size. I like that he beat out Zach Evans. I like watching him in the playoffs, or that game against Michigan. I know he missed against Georgia. But man, if you think about it, man, he just sat out for an MCL. So go ahead and mark a little soft on my list. Dude might be a little soft. No, I'm just kidding, man. Anything else? Anything else to say about a Kraft? I mean, I like him. I'm a little bit higher than you are. That's basically where we stand.
Yeah, and I wasn't, I didn't not predicting he's going to like the Cowboys or that. That's just a role I think that he'd fit, something like that.
Agreed. Next we're gonna move to Israel Ibanikanda. I hope I'm saying that right.
My boy.
Heck, I like Israel Ibanikanda. I liked him too. He was 216 pounds, 5'10", track athlete. We're talking about a world class track. Well, I don't know about world class, but he's definitely an elite. Was elite in high school and college and stuff. His athleticism chart, he was fifth on the athleticism. Let me see. Didn't run in the combine.
None of these guys.
And yeah. So, but one interesting stat: ran for 100 yards in 9 of 11 games with 20 touchdowns in that last season. Zone runner, zone scheme running. That's what he needs to be in the zone scheme. You know how it is. Some of this is just about fit too, but things I put was good one cut, instant acceleration, and good vision and breakaway speed. But one thing I put, sometimes he don't wait on his blocks, and then I put pass protection too. as a weakness, but what am I saying? Yeah, last year 20 touchdowns, ran for 1,400 yards, 12 receptions. I mean, I like Israel Ibanikanda. What you say?
Yeah, he had average 6 yards per carry. 12, like you said, 12 receptions for 146 yards. So it's a good yards per catch there. I put one of the better pure runners between the tackles in this class. Breaks arm tackles and is shifty with good balance. Has good jump cuts in the backfield, but sometimes is a little too patient. Runs upright on occasion, and probably won't be used much on third downs. So some pros, some cons, but I felt like as a pure runner, he was one of the better ones. Probably top three,
Yep.
top four that I've seen in the guys that we're talking about.
Yeah. And Superflex drafts is going 150.1, which is 12th among rookie running backs. And I just don't know if I would rank 11 running backs ahead of Ibanikanda. To me, that seems a little too much. I mean, heck, if he's going to everyone to just smash on, I feel like this would be a perfect
Yeah.
guy to take a chance on, in my opinion. Heck, I like watching this film. I watched him in real life. Pittsburgh's always throwing out some running backs. So, heck,
Yeah.
I really don't even know what else to say about him.
And I think a team will take a chance on him because if he ends up being good, can you imagine like how much money they'll make in jersey sales? Because that's a name that I want to get behind. I'll be buying that jersey if he turns into something.
Oh, man. A Bandicanda.
A
Hell,
Banacanda.
a bag of candy. Uh, hey, but I mean, hey, I guess me and you, we're both kind of high on the band. Well, I mean, I guess not say high, but we're in on the Bandicanda as of today.
I'm pretty high on the Banacanda.
Would you take a
I'm up
Bandicanda
there.
over? You like him more than Chase Brown? What we did last episode?
That was the perfect name you could have brought up. I probably would. I would take him over Sean Tucker. Um, I mean, like we said, all this depends, man. Where
Draft
these guys get
capital.
drafted. All these guys we're talking about are the same. I mean, they're not the same, but it just matters what team they go to, and
Right.
if they're going to get opportunity. Because out of all the positions in football, running back is the one who needs the most opportunity. That's the only way they're going to put up production. Receivers, not as much. They're still going to need it, but if you're good at receiver, you'll be out on the field and ball will come your way. You don't need 12 receptions to be relevant, but as a running back, you're going to need 15 carries a game.
Yeah,
You just got to have opportunity.
I agree. So me and the Craft Man, we both in on the Abanicanda, and it ain't just because of his name. We actually thought the dude was pretty good. So,
Yeah.
last one, man. Let's sum it all up with a dog named McIntosh. 6 foot, 204 pounds, out of the University of Georgia. Ran a 4.62 40, 1.54
Whoa.
split. Yeah, slow, but I'll be honest. I watched the film, it don't slow to me. At least not 4.62. So that made me think the dude's got a good burst through the line of scrimmage. Heck, I watched Kenny McIntosh, but the dude, Georgia's pumping out running backs like crazy
Yeah. You know,
last year. So he's just a little unknown, a little bit, but got goes to Georgia.
I just feel like I just feel like he's solid. That's just the main thing I think of Kenny McIntosh. Like they had Jahmyr White, who was the bruiser, and earlier they had James Cook, who was the electric pass catcher out of the backfield, and then Kenny McIntosh is just he can run between the tackles. He's not the most impressive at doing that, but he can. He's great in pass protection. I just feel like Kenny McIntosh is going to be like a coach's dream
Yeah,
of just like you're always in the right spot at the right time, always doing the right thing. But just and probably special teamer. I would imagine he'll be on special teams in the NFL. But I'm not, for fantasy wise, I don't really see enough explosiveness and enough. His pass catching is good, but his open field talent isn't as good as some of the other, like Devon A-Chain and Jahmyr Gibbs, stuff like that. So just solid. That's the way I feel about old Kenny.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I wrote down good pass protection too. So, if you can pass protect, you can find a role. These NFL teams can give you a role. But yeah, I mean, last year ran for 809 yards, 10 touchdowns, 5.5 for carry. Heck, he had 42 receptions.
Yeah, he's a good pass catcher
for 490 yards.
Yep.
So Kenny McIntosh is easily dropping the 4th rounds, maybe even undrafted. So easily somebody you could take a little shot on at the end and just to see what happens in the SEC. So, and who knows? I mean, he not a lot of wear and tear. Who knows, man? This dude might just pop off for a little bit. So
he could. I mean, he gets in the right spot.
But fuck Kenny McIntosh and fuck the dogs. Dude's ass. Nah, I'm just kidding.
I know you don't like him.
Who is there anything else we want to say about these guys? Broke down 5. Today we broke down Gibbs, Evans, Miller, Ibanikanda, and McIntosh.
I think we're good, but one thing I want to say about McIntosh too is I just wouldn't be surprised if his draft capital was pretty good because, like I said, I think he's like a coach's. He just does everything really well, so I think a coach would love to have him. Just put in at any time in a pinch. Somebody goes down with injury. Throw Kenny McIntosh out there. He'll do everything. He'll do everything just fine.
Yep. So I feel like me and you are both kind of all right with Kenny McIntosh. We just accept him for what he is. He ain't gonna change your fantasy team around, but might get a couple weeks out of him. You never know. When you start getting lower in these drafts, that's what you're looking for. Maybe a spot start every now and then. So, but shoot, man, add the podcast. Add me on Twitter at CrewMattHamm. Add the Craftman at Crackman. At Crackhead.
Not Crackman.
Craftman Pack Fan. Anything else to say to the people, Craft?
Yeah, I wanted to point out some things with these running backs, like when we're going through these startups after the NFL draft. It's just there's not a whole lot of great landing spots right now. Like if you go around the NFL and think, oh man, this guy's going to be an instant starter. Don't always look at that. Sometimes it's not a bad deal to be a premier handcuff for a known running back. That's not a bad deal.
Yep, I agree. I second that. I agree 100% with the Craft, man. But yeah, man, that about sums it all up. That about wraps it on up, man. We out.
Peace.